Welcome to The Source with your host, Dr. C.T. Curry, and co-host Coby Owens. News all across the nation. The Source. Stay in the loop in the city of Wilmington, Delaware. Work together for change in the community. A call to action to find the resources. The Source, the latest in news.
Good evening. This is Dr. Curry.
This is Coby Owens.
And welcome to The Source. Coby, I am thrilled and happy to report that as far as I'm aware of, there are no shootings that were reported for last week. And I just think that's remarkable.
Yes, I'm happy to report. I also have not heard of any shootings happening in the city of Wilmington.
Yeah.
So again, we did have a little run in there where we saw about 3 or 4 shootings, but it's been pretty quiet for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I'm grateful that the community is starting to step up. One of the things I was sharing with you offline was that Pastor Powell from Mount Joy Church did something on Friday I thought was great. He called the pastors together, and it's kind of hard to get ministers together because everybody in their own ecosystem. But he called the pastors in South Bridge together, and 7 of our churches decided that we would take a corner. And what they did was they walked from, it was on Good Friday at 6 o'clock. They started at Eden Park and they went to each location of where the churches are within the South Bridge community. And they spoke on the last 7 words. It was an outstanding event. And I'm very grateful to Pastor Powell. And I want to give him his credit because he called us together. And I was very happy to see not only myself and Pastor Oliver and others who decided that they wanted to be a part of this. It was a great opportunity.
And that's what it's all about. It's about bringing the community together. And we need our faith leaders really to be at the forefront of that.
Absolutely. So for those of you who are watching, especially faith leaders, please let's join in this gang of people who want to see our community stronger and more healthier, because now that we have a mayor who is concerned about people more than property, I think we want to continue to support in any way we can. So hats off even to the governor. Oh, sorry, he's not the governor anymore, but hats off to the mayor who is trying to keep his police department doing what they got to do. And I'm seeing their presence more too, because a couple of days ago when I came through South Bridge, I saw them several places, but not only in South Bridge, throughout the city. So we're very grateful. So we're happy to report that this week we have no reporting of any shootings that are going on. And we ask that you would keep your eyes open. Last time we were on Coby, we did give them a private phone number that they could use in order to send footage. And I'm told people are using it. So I didn't know we were watched to that level, but there's more than just 28 that we're on. We're also on Facebook as well and YouTube. But I hope that you all will continue to share as you see crime. And we want to see crime go down to a place where we have no shootings, no murders in our city. And that's when we'll be happy. We want to do a couple updates, though, Coby. We have the man, there was a man, one of the suspects who had about some murders in the city. And he gets 26 years for that crime. What do you know about that?
Yeah, so this shooting took place, a homicide took place in the summer of 2023, and he was actually arrested. The young guy's name, he's 35 years old, Deontay Willington from Bridgeton, New Jersey, was sentenced to 26 years earlier this week, 26 years in prison earlier this week. He pled guilty to murder in the second degree, robbery in the second degree, and 2 counts of possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. He killed 37-year-old Dennis Davis, who was shot twice on East 23rd Street and North Market Street back in 2023. Prosecutors said that Deontay started talking to him, shot him, and then stole his necklace at that point. And he was arrested later in Pennsylvania and then transported down here. But he was arrested in an unrelated manner in Philadelphia and then transported down here to Wilmington once they were able to match the DNA.
Yeah, wow. You know, and you think about the senselessness of what he shot him for.
Yes.
It's just horrible. But hats off again to the Wilmington Police Department because their investigative work is working, and hats off to the District Attorney, Attorney General office because they are continuously pursuing even the cold cases. So I'm loving. And I don't want anyone to ever accuse us of only reporting the bad.
Yeah.
We're bringing forward that, yes, the Attorney General's office continued, they worked hard, they were able to get what they needed to get, and now he has 35 years, and that means the system is working as well.
Yes.
So we're very grateful for that. Now, I wanted to spend a couple of minutes today as we are looking at some things, because the media sometimes is a little prejudice and bias. And I was very happy to hear you say a couple of weeks ago that City Council is going to send up a resolution to have some have meetings so that y'all can better understand policy, legislation, things that y'all want to bring to the floor where it won't be misunderstanding. And when you said that, you know, the senators or the legislators, they have it where they can meet privately to understand things better, not to hide things, but to better understand. Now I'm seeing that you particularly, and they don't understand when they're messing with you, they're messing with me, but you particularly are being somewhat under scrutiny with the media about this. Help us out a little bit.
And I stand by the resolution we did. Listen, at the end of the day, our current council, most of us are on multiple committees. And because of that, we cannot sit down and brainstorm ideas. We can't develop policy concepts and build consensus around anything. Because if three of us are in a room, that constitutes a quorum, which means we cannot talk about any policy that deals with that committee. That hurts us, right? If me and you are on the same committee, we can't have someone else join us and talk. So it makes it a lot harder to have conversations, especially with the complex conversations that need to be had for the entire city. You look at right now, one of the things that multiple council members, especially the three new ones, Councilman Hackett, Councilwoman Wilhauer, and myself have been talking about, is this property tax reassessment, where it is overwhelmingly unfair to the residential property owners who've had our properties overassessed while commercial properties have been underassessed. What does that mean? The city of Wilmington, we're going to have net zero, right? Revenue neutral, which means we're not raising the property tax percentage, but you will see your property taxes go up. I don't think that's fair, because here's the thing. We have commercial properties who've been paying $650,000 a year. They were underassessed so much, they are now going down to paying $105,000 in taxes. And what revenue neutral means is we have to make up that $500,000 mark.
Absolutely.
Where does that come from? It puts an undue, unfair burden on the property owners who are residential, right? So again, it's conversations like that. It's conversations about sitting down and strategizing about how we can respond to the Trump administration taking millions of dollars away from the city. We cannot have those conversations right now. Every other legislative body can. They can. And this resolution, and again, I want to keep putting it out there, it does not change our legislative process.
Right, but voting. There'll be no voting.
Correct.
It'll be discussions only. And that's what they're trying to kind of make it a little confusing.
Committee meetings will still be in public eye, right? Public will still be able to come and give public comment. Council meetings will still happen as regular council meetings. This just gives us another tool to be able to sit down informally and have conversations, which we cannot do right now. We're a body of 13 when only 2 and 3 people can have to kind of move around so that we don't constitute a quorum, then that makes it very difficult to get things done on a city level, especially when we are the economic hub of this state. We need to be able to move things along.
Well, I think a lot of times they want the city to fail. A lot of the policies that we have are so archaic, it doesn't fit for the major city of a state. And if the state legislators are already doing that, precedent has been set. No one has complained that, oh, well, the legislators, whether it be the Senate or it be the House, they are doing this, they're doing the other. Whenever the city of Wilmington starts thinking and decide we want to put some some things to get permission to do so that we will be better, it becomes a big major event. And the sad reality is that you're a black boy. So you ain't got no business even thinking like that, because now you're messing with our schemes and our scams. But to be better informed, to be better to understand things better so that you all will be able to legislate appropriately, not changing the process. And I heard you say that very clearly. And that is very clear. We're not trying to change how we vote and when we vote. We're now trying to gather facts, gather information so that when we present ourselves to the public, we'll be able to be more united and with a better collective thought. Now, when I heard that, it's like, it's going to be more transparency is what you're saying, not less, because it looks like we're hiding something because we just don't know the information because we can't get together. I think, Coby, that we need to make sure we say to all of those individuals, reporters who want to bring up this type of scrutiny, that they need to examine themselves. And that's what I'm saying. They need to examine themselves. I think this is a great piece of, it's not even legislation. I guess it's a resolution. And for them to even challenge this is just, do you know who the reporter was that was asking all these questions?
So the reporter that really started it was the president and CEO of Spotlight Delaware. I think her name's Ashley, but then others have reported on it as well too. Again, they're not reading the legislation. We've put out a statement as well too, clarifying some things. But again, they want to write about what they want to write about, and that is their right to do.
Absolutely.
Again, I have made it known I'm willing to talk to anyone about this. This process went through a very public process that I guess a lot of them just don't follow city council.
Until something juicy or something they can report on.
But again, it was in a committee meeting. It was in a regular council meeting as well too, where we voted on this.
Yeah. Now, their big concern is that it will cause what? What is their concern?
So they're concerned about we wouldn't be following FOIA, right? So they wouldn't be able to request what we're talking about in that meeting. That's how the current structure of the law works right now, that the Delaware General Assembly has been using for decades, right?
So the precedent has been set.
Yes.
So, and the reason why I cut you off, because I want to make sure that people who are watching us, people who get ready to criticize what we because I'm in agreement with this. Currently, the Senate, State Senate, and the State House can get together to discuss whatever they need to discuss so that they can get a better understanding of whatever legislation they're trying to put forward. They can't vote on anything.
Correct.
They can't make any determinations on anything, but they can just sit and have conversations, have meetings together to be able to do this.
So here's the thing. That doesn't even touch them down there because their quorum levels are so much higher.
I understand that.
They can have meetings with 7, 8, 9 people in a room together.
Yeah.
The way they caucus down there, they do discuss legislation that's been introduced and talk it out. They go to their different caucuses, Republicans and Democrats do it, right? That's not what we're saying. We're saying just give us an opportunity to get to the pre-drafting stage to talk about, hey, I care about housing, you care about housing, you care about housing. How can we come to an intersection and work together and get some good legislation done?
I have a message to the liberal media as well as the conservative media. One of the reasons that Donald Trump is doing so well with people is because of the frustration that people who are lay people have with all of this scrutiny under things that should not even be scrutinized. I don't agree with 99.9.9999% of what Donald Trump does or say. But this is a good example. Here you're scrutinizing something that will help the city better manage, the city council. Stop it. Stop it. At some point, you have to know more. You can tell you didn't do your research, whoever the people are, because you would see what the state is currently doing, and it has not posed any problems, or you have not seen any issues. So if it is not an issue there, why are you now bringing it to us, trying to say, well, Wilmington, we want to keep you in the dark. You don't talk to each other. You don't need to discuss the policies, and you don't need to discuss which way you vote, which way you're going as understanding what is happening. Stop it. At some point, let's report on the news. Let's report on some of the positive things that are happening in the city. Let's report on some of the negative things that are happening. But when the city council is coming together to the level that it's coming together after all the craziness of the last couple councils, I think we need to give them an opportunity to manage well. That's what I think. Now, I'm not anybody. I'm just a little old country preacher from North Philadelphia. But I just think when I read that, I said, what? Are you serious? And I was going to put you on the spot because at first I thought it was something that they had an issue with. But then I read it and I said, no. This has to stop. And if you look at for news to report, there's a whole lot of it, especially with Confederacy down in Lower Delaware. Go down there. Is it Upper Delaware? I don't know when you went down in that. Down. Okay. You go down and go down there and deal with all this racism that's going on, all this stuff that's happening to African Americans. And there's a whole lot of Trump news and a whole lot of folks who's supporting Trump and acting like they aren't. Something happened this week at our office that was really interesting. I'm putting it on the air for right now because it threw me off. You know, I don't really pay attention to, you have a right to wear what you want to wear. You have a right to do what you want to do, but there's some things that are offensive, especially to the African-American community, but really not even to the African-American community, just to those individuals who are just not Trump based. One of our vendors came in, Coby, and I've always had a great respect for this person. I don't care what your political beliefs are,
right?
But he came in with a Trump hat on.
Oh Lord.
It threw me totally off. I was so thrown off that I was running around the office trying to figure out how am I going to talk to this guy, because I don't want to seem like we are telling people what they can wear and who they got to vote for and who they not to vote for. But then one of my colleagues said here in the office said, we have a right to talk about what is professional and what is not professional. And we're in a political statement, because that's what that is. It's not a professional for this office. And I went to him directly and said, we've had a relationship for the last 9 years. Our relationship is getting ready to die if you ever wear that hat here again. Not because I don't support Trump or I support Trump, but it's just like if I put on a wear a Confederate flag here. That is offensive to certain people. And his controversial state of being is offensive.
Yes.
You know, can I put on a black movement saying more power? And everybody is not for that. So we try to keep ourselves positive, professional, neutral. And I told him, he said, okay, I'll never do it again, all the good stuff. And if he does, and for those of you who are, please know what is appropriate and what is not appropriate.
Yes.
You know, I'm not gonna do certain things. I'm not gonna put an anti-Christ shirt on and come into a church.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense. Now, I didn't say Trump was anti-Christ, but you can read between the lines, say what you want to say. But I am going to say, you just need to know what's appropriate and what's not. And if you're a professional, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you should know better. But people tend to get very bold. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. The last thing I want to, not the last thing, but last thing I want to talk about, because we only got a couple more minutes left in this segment. I want to talk about what's going to Trump affect the deal, the ICE. They are affecting even at the University of Delaware now.
Yeah.
That first of all, they're going up against Harvard, which I'm very glad that Harvard is not bending. I'm very glad they got all the money they have. I'm very glad that even some of the alum that's going to help fight against the Trumpism. But the University of Delaware now, and we got 8 students who are getting they being revoked their what do you call those things? Their visas.
Yeah.
Are being revoked.
So about 200 students at UD earlier this week walked out of class in support of the 8 students who are right now. It's a lack of due process and deportations going on across this country. Students are being literally kidnapped off of campuses right now. And these 8 students had their visas revoked, and the student body, both of current students and some former students as well too, did not think that was right. Again, we're seeing this a ripple effect happen across America. We just saw a video surface up in Boston of a young Muslim girl who had her visa revoked earlier that day. The email hadn't even been sent to her, and ICE agents came and grabbed her off the street without identifying themselves.
And if you saw how they did it, it could have been like somebody was mugging her.
Yeah.
They didn't even have anything on that said ICE. I don't understand, but go ahead, I'm sorry.
This has happened numerous times. Again, it can be very scary. But again, I hope that the UD administration stands up for these students and fights back to make sure that their visas are reinstated. Again, the university said it's creating a website. I don't know if it's live just yet, answering any questions regarding ICE and what they can and cannot do legally on UD's campus, right? The university is also, again, trying to pair international students with immigration lawyers so that they can help them stay and finish their education at UD. But the UD administration needs to be very vigilant. And they need to be very aware if ICE is going to be operating on their campus.
I did not know that these universities, these major research universities, which University of Delaware is not considered as a major, but is considered as one of the research universities, they get the level of federal funding that they get, which Trump obviously have tapped into that and is able to bully them.
Yeah.
And later on, we're going to talk a little bit more about it. But the University of Delaware, I'm with you. They have to speak up. This is messing with the educational system for foreign students who come from abroad and all those exchange programs. This country is on fire. It's on fire. And you know, Kamala Harris may not say it. Well, I think she did say it, but she told them this was going to happen. And I'm gonna keep saying it until y'all just hate me to a place where you just hate me. Every last one of you who said, I'm not voting for the Democrat. I'm just not going to vote. You are the reason why we're in the position that we're in. Yes, from city council, all of you who got on shows and said, I'm not voting for them. They're all a bunch of crooks. You're the crooked. You're the most crooked because you got to make a decision. And you made a decision to support Trump because his ploy was to get people not to vote. And Coby, this is not going to sit well with you, but I got to be honest with you. Those people in Michigan who were against Biden because of his policy on not Ukraine, Palestine, they are also a part of this. And I'm sorry because they didn't vote for him. They didn't vote for Trump, but not voting for Biden. Not Biden, but Kamala has given Trump the victory. That's what I believe.
Well, I will say there is a huge Muslim population in Michigan. And it is a very close correlation of the individuals who were upset, who said they weren't going to vote for anyone in the margin there. But that's only 16 votes. Unfortunately, there was more people who did not vote, not because of Palestine, but because they just didn't want to go vote because they saw the two parties being the same in Pennsylvania, in Georgia, in Arizona, in North Carolina, in Ohio, in Wisconsin. That led to all those states also flipping as well, too.
All I can say is we better get it together. This is going to be a rough ride. Turbulent sign is on. And as the stewardess said, I just flew to Buffalo. Put your mask on first when they come down because we're going to be in for a real strong turbulence. Last but certainly not least today, I do want to I've been hearing some rumors. I don't know the truth of them, but I've been hearing some rumors that the 5-year contract for DETV is up, and I've been noticing a whole lot of breaks in the broadcasting. I know we are a lot. We do Channel 28. They have 2 TV stations, or shall I say, channels. And are they staying or are they going or what's happening? Is there a negotiation?
So as of March 31st, the contract for our TPO, which is third party operator for the public lease access portion of the city's 3 channels has expired, which means DETV Foundation, which runs that, is currently not the operator right now. There's a process in which we have to, as a Cable, Video, and Telecommunications Commission and City Council, we have to find another operator find a operator for that station. Currently, how DETV Foundation has been operating. They have been operating with DETV, the business, and both have access to that signal on Channel 28. So the DETV Foundation is where people are seeing the gaps. I saw it the other day. It said, the signal is currently down. We'll be returning soon.
So people like me who pay for his or her airtime, will that affect us in any way? Meaning, how do I know that the source will be on next week?
That's a good question. So it depends who your contract is with. again, it's two different entities working under the same signal. So it's DETV Foundation or DETV. And the sources with the for-profit. The other shows are with the nonprofit. Again, both make payments to be on the air. But as of right now, yes, those channels will still be on that are with the for-profit. It's the nonprofit that is up in limbo right now.
All right. So could you promise us, is that with the city council or is that with the mayor's office?
So it goes to the commission first,
Okay.
the Cable, Video, and Telecommunication Commission.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the ability to either extend a one-year contract out that doesn't have to go to the council, or a multi-year contract that then has to go and be voted on by the city council. This is a part of a larger operation. So the city of Wilmington has a franchise agreement with Comcast. And a part of that franchise agreement, you get 3 channels. So public access, which is channel 28, educational, which is channel 190, and government, which is channel 22. And that makes up our PEG operations, right? The only one that can bring in revenue is the public access. Education is Red Clay TV. They run that completely independent of us. No funds go to them. And then lastly is WITN, which is where you see the committee meetings, the council meetings, the 2-minute drills and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to keep everybody updated. But again, I just want to make sure that our show continues. And if it's something else I need to do, I will be reaching out to the owners or not Dennis, what is it? Ivan, to figure out, what's going on with us. So far, I do know that my church broadcast is playing, because I did see that on this morning. We're going to just see.
Ivan's been good. He's been good for the city. He's redesigned some things, but again, there's multiple shows that are on his channel right now that have been informative to the community, that have been a huge help to the community as well too. Okay,
well, we're going to figure it out. We'll take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. And we're back. Coby, what's going on with the Coby Corner?
Yeah, so first I want to start with what is going on down at the port. You heard at the beginning of this session, there was a little back and forth between the state senate and the newly sworn in governor, Matt Myers, about 5 people who the former governor, former lieutenant governor, Bethany Hall Long, had appointed to the port board, but hadn't been confirmed yet. After a few months of back and forth, the courts came back and said that Governor Myers has the right to pull those nominations and put his own up. And that is what he did. He nominated 5 people in which he thought would be good to fill these seats on the Diamond State Port Corporation Board of Directors. Again, these were individuals that he vetted who weren't even some of his supporters. But when it came down to it, only 3 of them got hearings, and 2 of them were missing. And the Delaware State Senate informed the governor that they did not believe that 2 of his individuals that he had selected should be on this board, and that they wouldn't be moving forward with it as of right now.
Was that political?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Because the reason why I'm cutting in every so often, because I don't want people to think that the 2 they're talking about wasn't qualified. It's just that the Senate, whoever the leadership is that who it was?
Yes.
Had informed the governor that these 2 were
in a bipartisan way.
Oh, it was a bipartisan one.
So again, they heard testimony for 3 of the nominees. The 2 picks that were meeting and the 2 that Senate leaders have rejected is Gene Bailey, who is the former Port Executive Director, understands port operations, and someone who's been confirmed by a vast number of senators in this body already, Jen Cohen, who is the now Associate Builders and Contractors of Delaware president, but Jen is a former transportation secretary for the state of Delaware, I believe under Jack Markell's administration. So again, she is no stranger to Delaware whatsoever, and to the Delaware Senate, but they have rejected both their nominations as of right now. A joint statement was put out that wrote that they are great public servants, but the moment calls for different voices to serve on the board.
Wow.
So again,
No. Did they do the same thing for that woman, the one who was governor for a week? What's her name again?
no, they didn't confirm any of her.
Oh, so
Right.
that was not okay.
Correct.
All right.
The three nominees that who testified and they got to go back and forth was David Burt from he's the former Newcastle County Board of Adjustments chair, Robert Mead, the former Board of Pilot Commissioners chair, and union leader over at the port, Ronald Harris, everyone knows him as Kamoko, who was nominated. And again, I will say, these were not supporters of Matt's campaign. I will say that.
Kamoko, I don't think he was.
No, he was not.
I don't think he was. So that was a political thing on Matt's side.
Yes, it was. And I think it shows that he is trying a little bit, but he still wants some of his people there as well, too. There was a fourth hearing there, not for someone who's new, added to the board, but for the person to be the port board chair. It has been common practice that by position, the Delaware Secretary of State has been is a member of the commission already, but also of the board of directors, but has also served as the chair. So they had to have a hearing for our current Secretary of State, who they've already confirmed, Charuni Patabane Sanchez, to be considered as the port board chair.
What was the outcome?
They have moved that forward. All four of those, so the three new people and our Secretary of State, they all wait to be voted on by a final vote by the full Senate, which will probably happen next week or within the following 2 weeks.
Is it a paid position?
No. Well, Secretary of State is.
I know. I'm talking about the board.
No. Okay. Not that. Well, I don't hold me accountable for that. I'm 90% sure it's not paid.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So again, the other nominees presented their qualifications, but again, they have not moved forward. This is extremely important that we get a full board for this, especially with what's going on with a $635 million Edgemore Container Terminal expansion project potentially happening. We need to have a full board to go and handle the federal stuff. So again, this will bring good union jobs to the area. It will not only bring good union jobs here, but it will help our local economy, because when you are working here, you're more likely to want to live here. You're more likely to want to spend your money here, eat here, buy a house here. So again, this could be very good, not only for the state, but it will help the Edgemore area and Wilmington area as well too, with our local economies here. So this is very good.
Okay.
I look forward to see where this goes. Next, I want to talk about Kevin Hensley. Kevin Hensley is a Delaware state rep who is representing the Odessa Townsend area. He's a Republican who has been elected for about 10 years now. But he later last year, we heard that 4 days after the election, he was in an accident and he was driving drunk with his adult daughter in a car. We did not learn of that until February of this year. He has gone through his court case.
Now stop there for a minute. You said, when did it allegedly happen?
November 9th.
November 9th, December, January. 3 months later is when we did what?
We found out about it.
Oh, okay. I stopped him again because it's important that you're paying attention to the details. A legislator, Republican, Caucasian, he allegedly was in a car accident while driving under the influence with his child in the car. Forget about the fact that if he's guilty or not, we did not even hear about it. You may proceed, sir.
Yes. So earlier this week, his court case wrapped up. Come to find out, he had a DUI back in 2009. But according to Delaware law, it is not considered a second offense because it has been more than 10 years in between those. So he hasn't drank and drove in 10 years, I guess.
No, you can't say that. You can say he hasn't got caught.
Oh, there you go.
And driving.
But at the hearing, a Kent County judge, again, this happened in Milford. He represents Townsend, Middletown. So it happened in Kent County. He was driving all the way back to Newcastle County. The judge gave him 18 months in prison, but then suspended the time behind bars for 1 year probation. And he lost his driver license for 1 year and received a $500 fine and is ordered to take a DUI course. Now you would say, okay, he was driving, swerving, maybe that's why they only did that. He hit another car while he was drunk,
right, with
his grown daughter in the car. They were not harmed. The other car flipped. The driver sustained chest injuries and laceration to their arm and was injured. As of right now, as the time we are filming this show, there has been one article written about this.
The same article, the same newspaper or news media that wrote about yours.
Yes.
Is that the same one who did write about this one?
Yes, it's one of them.
Oh.
But I've been written about by 12 different outlets.
Okay.
About our resolution. But someone who almost killed someone.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, only got one.
Someone who almost killed someone and then got probation and a $500 fine.
Wow.
I've seen one article so far. But again, more may come out after this.
He can stay in the state legislature?
He can stay in his position, yes.
Wow. That's amazing. That is just unbelievable. I'm going to go get me some bleach.
Yeah.
I ain't going to say no more. Not for him, for me. I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to do any threats. I'm going to get me some bleach so I can change how I look. Go ahead.
But again, this is drunk driving is extremely dangerous and unacceptable. That happens way too much in the state and in this nation. But again, someone who's in power, again, gets away with it because they are someone in power. And I know I have family members who are in jail for a lot less than that. But moving forward, talking about the state still as well, too. There was a highly debated bill, SB 21, that was supposed to fix all the corporations from leaving the state of Delaware. They pushed it through the Senate, pushed it through the House. Matt signed it very quickly. Governor Meyer signed it very quickly. And I just want to give an update. So it's been about 2.5 weeks since it was signed. And
2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks.
I gotta slow you down a little bit because I want everybody to pay attention to the politics of this now.
Yeah.
Now, just to make sure I'm clear, because I think slow. You said that there was pretty much emergency legislation put through on the floor and pushed through all the committees and everything to put together a plan that will keep businesses from leaving.
Yes.
Because there was an attack by Elon Musk, pretty much, who basically wanted all the corporations to leave Delaware. So Delaware said, we're going to counter it, and we're going to do something to make sure everybody stay.
Yep.
You can take me from there.
8 corporations have met and have reviewed our law and have still decided to leave. Since they signed the bill, since it became law, the MGS Sports and MGS Entertainment, which are separately here, have both decided to go and reincorporate in Nevada. They said Nevada law provides more predictable and certainty in the underlying laws that impact decision-making. Nevada re-domestication reduces the risk of opportunism litigation against the company and its directors and officers. And again, they don't have to pay a franchise tax that they have to pay here in Delaware, which is the big thing.
The rich just want to stay rich.
Absolutely.
They just want to have
That's all
control.
this is
They
about.
want to have power. And whenever Donald Trump have opened up that door for everybody to really express it and make it happen, it's really sad.
Some of the other companies is Ep.196, Royal Corp, Bayou Holdings, and corporations like that have all decided to leave the state of Delaware, reincorporate. Of the 8, 7 of them have reincorporated to Nevada, and 1 has reincorporated to Texas. And I know Texas is also trying to build their corporate law there as well too. This has also opened the conversation on the federal level that if Delaware is going to try to dictate corporate law, then why shouldn't the federal government do it more as well too? So we may see them stepping into that realm pretty soon to try to change some federal law around incorporation and stuff like that. My last point, I'm going to talk about weed. So it has been an ongoing thing here in the city of Wilmington. But there was a committee hearing held last night in which a zoning map was approved by the body of council, or the committee members of the Community Development and Urban Planning, and now it goes to the full body of council to be voted on. Also a resolution.
Do you think it's going to pass?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. A resolution has also been sent to the full body of council from that committee as well too, asking the General Assembly to allow the city to levy a 3% tax on top of the existing 15% tax that this all goes to the state. The 3% will go to the city of Wilmington. Again, most of the members of council was there because we had a budget hearing prior to that as well too. Again, this was a stark contrast to in 2024, where most council members wanted to go and hide. We've been able to go out to different civic associations in our respective districts and talk to them about these maps, show them these maps, get public comment from civic association presidents and members as well too. And this is the best proposed map. It's a compromise map. I think it gets what everyone wanted to see out of it. We will still have retail, cultivation, and other opportunities for licenses to be issued here in the city of Wilmington, but it also keeps it out of key areas such as residential, away from most community, or actually all community centers, schools, and public areas, public open space, which are parks, as well too. So I think, a lot of work went into this. We're not like the other cities that just banned it flat out. That was a non-starter for a lot of us council members. We still see it as something that our residents want, but we also know a lot of residents don't want it. So we feel as though this is the best way to go forward.
Yeah, I'm a part of the residents who do not want it. I know all the effects of, just like cigarettes. I mean, it's not even that it's weed, and we can look at it as drugs, but the smoke itself, we got people who are dying constantly of cancer and different things. So I was against it. I know and you were for it. I understand. Me and the governor was on the same page before we were on the same page.
Yes. So again, it goes to a final vote very soon. And then I will keep y'all updated about that. But again, we welcome everyone to come to our committee meetings, to come to our council meetings. You can find where the different meetings are happening if you go to WilmingtonCityCouncil.com and you click on the calendar, event calendar. It comes up. All the public meetings are there for people to come and engage. And like I said, we are still in budget season. So again, every Monday and Wednesday until the end of the month, starting at 4:30, we have budget hearings. So again, you're more than welcome to come out to that. The next ones are the 21st, which is Parks and Recs and the Office of Economic Development. And then the 23rd, that Wednesday, 4:30 to 8, is the Fire Department and Police Department. So again, we invite everyone to come out and join us for that.
Good. A couple questions for you real quick, and then we'll move on. First, the bond meeting.
Yes.
When they've been meeting already.
Yes.
Have they when will that part of the budget for the state be sent up?
So the bond committee is done meeting as of right now.
Okay.
They are just they're putting everything together, and then it'll be presented again about what is actually going to be getting funded or not. But I will say this, it's going to be a tough year for grant and aid and bond, most likely, because of the fact that with all the federal dollars leaving, it puts us in about a $30 million deficit as a state. So they're going to have to pull money from bond projects and grant and aid to make sure that they're able to sustain the budget in a
But I
good
thought that
way.
because we had been conservative in our spending, we've had some surplus years.
We had it. If we had normal, nothing increase from the federal government, we would have been great. But with so many millions and millions of dollars being pulled out of Delaware right now, and states all across the country,
Democratic states.
No, all states.
Okay.
Actually, Republican states are being hit the worst because they are the ones who receive the most federal assistance. Again, I want to point that out. Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Arizona, Nebraska, Kansas, Arkansas, Louisiana, they receive the most federal dollars to help with their school systems, their healthcare, housing.
Okay.
They're the ones who are being hit the most. Delaware is being hit hard as well too, but not as bad as them.
Yeah, there have been no news, but I'd always like to ask, since you are on the council now, how are things working with the council? Is the relationship still strong? Relationships still strong, and how are things going?
Yeah, I mean, of course, no one agrees 100% of the
Right,
time with
absolutely.
one another, and we've had our disagreements, but we've kept it respectful with one another.
Okay, that's the goal.
And we've been able to try to move things. Again, there's still an understanding barrier as well too. People think different ways, and it's hard sometimes to try to explain that in a committee meeting while you're also trying to introduce a bill and everything like that. It's just way too many different things to juggle at once. But other than that, it has been going good. We haven't had any major fights on the floor.
Thank the Lord.
Hopefully that doesn't happen anytime soon. I have a feeling it'll probably happen once or twice, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
It won't, as long as it's just not on a consistent basis.
Do you think that the people, our residents in the city of Wilmington, are appreciating your meetings better, the council meetings? Because at one point it was a lot of hostility that they weren't able to be heard. It was cut off and there was private things going on. Do you think there's a better situation going on right now?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I every so often we need to get the temperature of the city council. I'm feeling good about the mayor's office. Most of the things I've talked to people about, they're saying they are getting constituent services are working.
Mm-hmm.
So and I know we're still in the early phases, but I don't want to discount that because in the early phases of that last administration, it was horrendous. It was horrible. So to have this type of movement is a very good thing. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. And we're back. Coby, with our politics today, I just want to do a couple of things. I want to, just get your feel and do a little discussion on a few areas. Trumpism is just really reigning strong. Yeah. Biden came out for the first time in a long time. Before I ask anything, how are you feeling about that speech he gave? I
think he has the stress of being a president is off of him. Okay. He actually looks a lot better.
Okay.
At the end there, you could really see he was drained. But again, I think you're going to hear more of him. You're going to hear more of Harris in these coming weeks as well too. Okay. They're both starting to get back out there. I think they had to take some time and just heal from what happened in November.
Do you think she'll run for governor or for president?
Honestly, I would love her to run for governor out there. But I think she's in conversations right now with donors about which one is more viable for her. Mm-hmm. It's an ultimatum that they give to Black people. They gave it to Wes Moore. They gave it to Cory Booker. They're giving it to her as well too. Y'all all could run in 26 for your respective positions, but then we won't support you in 28. Or you could wait for 28 and we'll support you. Whereas the same white counterparts who are up in 26, or by these same donors are saying, "Oh yeah, we'll donate both times." So it's very interesting. But I do know she's having those conversations.
Do you think Westmore will run for president of the United States?
It would be a hard decision between Harris, Booker, and him. But I would love to see all three of them run.
Yeah, absolutely. Through a primary. That's what a good primary is for. What about the governor of Pennsylvania?
Oh, he's definitely going to run. Without a doubt, he's running. He's running for re-election. He's talking to those same donors right now about a 2028 presidential run as well too. Now, I will say in the news the other day, it was very. I'm very happy that he's okay. I may not agree with him on everything, but someone tried to firebomb the governor's mansion.
Not tried to. They did.
They did. And when the story first came out, they made it seem like it was a small fire. There's a whole wing of the building that is burnt out right now. They tried to burn him alive. And that, again, is just the validity of politics right now. And for a Republican congressman from PA to come out and say that he's happy that the governor is okay, but he should turn down being anti-Trump and this won't happen to him.
In other words, that happened because he's anti-Trump.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. So again, it's the times that we live in right now.
Yeah, we live in very bad times. And speaking of that, I did want to jump in with a little piece of the politics to see where we think the race is going to go. You got 3 African Americans who may run for office, and then you got a Shapiro who is going to run, and to see how that all flushes out. Primaries are good for that.
Yes.
And we're going to support whoever come out of those primaries, but we do hope that they are all, I'm hoping that everybody, Booker included, I didn't say anything about him, but you brought him up, but I'm hoping that they all will run and that they all will race and not kill each other to the place where you're giving Trump some things. But this is the big bomb before I go to Trump. They're saying, and Trump is thinking about this thing too, so I think he's changing his strategy a little bit. If Trump opens up the door for a 3rd term where he gets his cronies to make it happen, I don't think he thought about the fact that Obama could still run again.
Listen,
do you think that
he
would
don't
happen?
want OB or BO to run? Obama, and he's joked about it as well too, but he also said, Trump will try to find a way to make sure that Obama and any of the others couldn't run, because it was actually really funny because the other two also stated, well, maybe I should run as well too, both Bush and Clinton, right? Even though both of them are way past their primes.
Yeah. But Clinton was one of the better presidents when it comes down to economics.
Yes.
So, but go ahead.
But again, it's been a very long time since either one of those two were on the ballot.
Yeah.
And Barack still has a very high popularity in America. But yes, I think if anything, if they were to try to do it, and this is just me, they would try to put something in there and say, if you can run for a 3rd term if your first 2 terms wasn't consecutive or something like that. They'll try to find a loophole, or say if you can run for a 3rd term if you had a different vice president. I don't know.
Yeah.
They will try to find
fine with us because we can get a different vice president.
I know.
Barack can find somebody new, everybody else too. But regardless of it, I was so glad to see that Trump. You could tell he didn't think about it.
Yeah.
Now he's starting to rethink. So they're going to be pulling somebody together to try to take on his message. Let's talk a little bit about him for the next 3 minutes that we have left in the show. His economic policies have destroyed this country, and he's really smashing up things to a level where it's going to be hard to put it back together. What do you really think that it was his it's the market that's causing him to slow down a little teeny bit?
We saw $10 trillion wiped out in the stock markets, and then we saw a small surge that produced maybe about $500 million, and they bragged about the $500 million
after losing trillions.
After using trillions and trillions of dollars. The economy has slowed down. Businesses are being impacted because now supply chain is being affected. Their products are going to be more expensive, which means people aren't going to buy them. You look at the car market, right? Chevy Silverado, a pickup truck, Chevy, American company, but still gets parts from all over the world, went from $80,000 new to over $100,000 in a week. And that's before the trade war even really picked up. China, said, you can try us if you want. We could put tariffs right back on you, and you get more from us than we get from you.
Yeah.
And now China is also exposing these luxury brands who Gucci and Versace and everything that they just pay a Chinese distributor to slap their logo on, but there's some cheap
that was a little scary. That was a little scary.
Well, I've been saying it for a while. It's all the same. I've been telling my friends who like spending all that money. That's the same belt I saw at a Target or Walmart.
Don't start with me.
They're like, no, this is high class. I was like, no, it's not.
Yeah, I'm learning. When I saw that, I got a little scared and nervous. And I'm a Gucci person. I like Gucci, but okay, go ahead, keep going.
Which really made me happy. I get my jeans from Boscov's.
Okay.
My Lee's jeans, I love them. They're so comfortable. But one of the companies that they exposed was Lee and Wrangler. And it's the same jean, just a different patch, different name on them. So all those people who pay $80 for the same pair of jeans that I paid $29.99 for at Boscov's, you gotta pay attention to things like that. So I just felt good because I'm not a fashion person whatsoever. I wear the same stuff over and over. But this is really hurting the economy right now. We're gonna see prices continue to skyrocket. And then don't even get me started on the food industry, right? So across the board, we're going to see prices rise, even on our own goods as well, too. So we do produce chicken, right? We do produce grain and stuff like that. We're still seeing those prices go up because it's costing more to do the work there. In the undocumented labor that helps at these farms, are now scared to show the work. So now the food is either going bad or they have to try to find other ways to get it harvested. So again, it's just bad economic policy. This is not uncommon for Republican presidents. We saw this during Trump's first term, Bush's term as well too. Again, we are heading towards a recession.
Yeah, and that's what the Fed is saying, and that's scary. Last thing, and we only got like 20 seconds, and I want to jump in there. Do you believe we get ready to run into a constitutional crisis?
Absolutely.
Now, what does that mean? Somebody is saying to us, when the country is in a constitutional crisis, what is happening?
So it's lawlessness.
Yes.
You have a White House that is disobeying federal orders. And if a federal judge does hold something, they're threatening to impeach them. They're threatening to take away the power, to the scope of federal judges as well, too. It gets us into a slippery slope. We're already seeing things like the SAVE Act, which is going to require individuals to have passports to vote. That is a poll tax, right? Passports are $165. You have to get them weeks and weeks in advance. And with more people needing them, that's going to, again, just delay how long it takes to get those in the hands of people. But then also, you need your birth certificate to get that. A lot of people don't know where the actual birth certificate is. So therefore, especially if you've been married and stuff, and you haven't legally changed your name on your birth certificate, then you have to go through that process as well, too. So again, it creates a lot of hardships for people.
Well, this country is already in a constitutional crisis, but they have not labeled it as such.
Yeah.
Whenever one branch of the federal government or one branch of government is being attacked by the other, that creates problems. He has that. I was really shocked to know that, and I know that he had Thomas and the three that he put together, but I was shocked to see that they are really sticking with this man in a lot of their decisions, and how they treated this young man from Maryland was just unheard of. They could have just made a decision and moved on, but they are really afraid of Trump.
Doubling down.
That's really scary. How could they all be afraid of this man to this level?
He has so much influence over the party, the donors, the base. The individual base, the uneducated voters in rural communities truly believe that Trump is doing what is best for their economy. So it's going to be tough for them right now, but they're going to prosper in the long run.
I've heard them say that.
So again, it's very scary when you think of that and think of what is truly going to happen when we're looking at 3-4 years down the line where we're at economic wise.
Do you think, and you only give me a 10-second answer, do you really think that, how do you think we're going to come out of this? Unscathed or with Trump becoming the king?
I think he's not going to become king, but we are going to be very hurt coming out of this.
And I asked that question that way on purpose, just so you can get that. Listen, Coby, we have no more time. We're out of time. You're telling me you got to get it moving. Coby, is there anything else left on your agenda for this week?
That's all I have.
Well, for those of you who are watching us, and we will keep you updated on some of these things that we talked about today, we're going to get rolling into next week. And I hope that you will continue to watch us. Until the next time, God bless.
Take care, y'all.
You've been watching The Source with host Dr. C.T. Curry and co-host Coby Owens. Tune in every Sunday at 5 p.m. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest episodes.